Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and today I'm going to give you guys some updates on just some of the things that I've done in my garden so that you guys can see how the progress is going with that. And then also I have some baby plant food slash worm food, so we're going to talk about this. Okay guys, so there's a lot of amazing changes that are going on in my garden right now. So as you guys know, I am finishing up my spring garden, I'm in the midst of my monsoon garden, and I'm planning for my fall garden. So Arizona has just an abundance of seasons that you can garden in. So right now I am taking advantage of all of them, and I'm preparing some of my beds, I'm growing in some of my beds, and I'm producing in some of my beds. So let's give a couple updates, because on my last video I did a couple things that a lot of people were like, oh my god, why did you do that? And I didn't think anything of it because I always do it. But I guess if you're not used to gardening in Arizona, it might be something that's a little bit different for you. So I'm going to give you guys some updates. So my first update is going to be my pepper plants. So I had some hornworms on my pepper plants, and look at that brand new tomato, guys. We're going to talk about that. I hit a gardening store hard. It was bad. But I had hornworms on my pepper plants, and I pruned it. And a lot of people question why I pruned the pepper plants, but here in Arizona we can grow peppers pretty much all year long, and the plants don't actually die completely because we don't have a frost. So as you guys can see, all of these pepper plants that I basically topped are now growing new leaves. So they're going to continue to grow really huge, but they're also going to start producing in the fall. So this is going to make the plant really healthy, and it's going to give me lots of new fruit. So I made a video a while ago saying that there were no bad bugs in your garden, because actually the bugs are doing a purpose. They are pruning back the plant, or they are killing the plant if the plant's done. If they're killing the plant, it's because the plant is telling it to. So basically the plant feels like it's made enough fruit and it's now produced itself, or it feels like it needs to go dormant and it just needs to get rid of all the old leaves or the old parts of it. So it releases a chemical and things come in order to do that. So you can do it yourself and keep your plant happy, or it'll release a chemical and the bugs will do it, or a fungus will do it, or something will do it. So it's really just a sign of that if it's a plant that you know in your climate, because there are different climates that can grow different things all year long. Ours happens to be peppers. So if it's a climate that you can grow things in all year long, then you know, okay, well, if there's bugs coming in, now I need to prune it. Sometimes, and I've used a lot of that language of the plant, to say the least, to learn how to garden, because I was thinking, okay, well, all of these things are bad, the plant must be going bad, but then I actually kind of just let it do what it does and saw that it would eat all the old leaves and then new leaves would grow back. So that was that. Now I'm going to also show you guys my eggplant so that you guys can see how that's progressing. This one was attacked by aphids and it was getting too much sun. The plant wasn't happy, so I repotted it on this side of my garden and let it get more shade, and I just put it with a lot more compost because the roots were really root bound up in the pot that I had it in. So this is that eggplant. Now as you guys can see, it has a lot of new leaves on it. It does still have some little bit of aphids, which I've been washing off, but that's because the aphids are hatching. So they hatched and they have attacked all of the old leaves. So now all of these leaves that are here were once really small leaves like this, but now they've completely grown out and the plant is starting to really fill out too as well. Now, organic gardening can be super hard. So the hard part is kind of being okay with constantly picking up those treatments. Now, I'm not letting the aphids just prune that plant because I feel like I can do it on my own and I'm good, so I don't need the help. So I am spraying off the plant with soapy water and then also just a hard blast of water. Actually, now I'm just using a hard blast of water now that I have the plant kind of getting healthy again. A lot of those aphids that were on there are just now starting to hatch. So they were on there before as egg forms somewhere wrapped up in there, and now they're hatching, so now I just need to spray it off now that most of the dead leaves are gone. So let's talk about what's actually producing in 112 degrees of sun. It is hot, guys. Like, we are triple digits, and we've been triple digits for a while, but now we've just boosted it up a little bit. So instead of being triple digits like 101, 104, we're now in the 1-teens. So the 110s to the 115s, and it's only going to get hotter. But we have a couple things that are producing still, and now they're producing under shade cloth. So I'm not going to tell you to go out, put all of these plants in your Arizona garden under direct sun and let the sun bake them. You are going to want shade cloth. I use all of this around my garden is shade cloth, and I use anywhere between 40% to 50%, depending on the spot of the garden that I have. So let's see what's producing. So an amazing pepper plant that produces really good in the summer and pretty much all year long are shishitos. So this shishito pepper, guys, is on its probably about 15th round of shishito peppers, and as you can see, it's just growing like crazy. I just picked all the ones off of this one, and I picked them off maybe 2 days ago, and as you can see, guys, it's already producing a lot of flowers. And they're basically just powerhouses. So if you guys are wanting a good pepper, shishito peppers are really good, and they make an amazing side dish. Next up is the okra. So my okra plants, if you guys can see, have a lot of little okras on them. Now, it's been a constant battle. This is one that'll be growing in. Now, when they're this size, guys, just a side note, watch it, because probably by the end of the day or the next morning, they'll be ready to pick. And then we have some over here blooming. Now, my okra plants have been attacked by spider mites. I introduced spider mites by accident into my garden by getting a plant from Home Depot, and I didn't quarantine it like I normally do. But they are back to producing and back to giving me lots of okra, but they are something that I do constantly have to treat and watch out for the spider mites. We also have the rosemary is producing, and then also the mint up here. Look, guys, there's a little lizard just hanging out waiting for some food. But we have the mint up here. Now, the mint's growing a lot slower than the rosemary, but both of them are producing really well in order to give me lots of herbs. We also have the parsley here that's still producing. I'm actually going to put more parsley in this pot, so I'm going to fill it up so that I can have a lot of parsley, because we have been using this one a lot. So sage has been another one that's working really, really well with the heat. Also, we have thyme, oregano, and then basil. The basil loves the sun, so it will grow a lot. So guys, if you don't know, herbs are something that I grow a lot of. I actually prefer to make my own seasonings, so I use a lot of fresh herbs in my cooking. Herbs have a lot of medicinal purposes too, so in order to maintain health with my family, I prefer to use fresh herbs than using things that I buy in the store. So those are just a couple things that are producing right now in my garden. I did go to the Lowe's. Actually, I went to Lowe's to get like a couple of things that Mr. Benson is building in the house, and I ended up walking past the plant section and just getting a bunch of plants. So one of the things that's hard for me to do is to start plants on the inside and have them ready at a certain point to then put into my garden. So I do buy transplants every now and then, and I kind of fill my garden with different things that I could have filled them with my own things that I got from seed, but I didn't have the room for it on the inside. Right now I have part of my monsoon garden still going and part of my fall garden going, so I didn't have a lot of space to really grow like full plants. So I found a tomato plant that was like pretty much already producing. It's a cherry tomato bush plant, which is nice. And then I also found a couple of red bell pepper plants. I have the hardest time germinating bell peppers. I don't know if it's because our house is like super cold or what, but I have the hardest time germinating them. So one of the things that I do buy from transplants, or buy as a transplant all the time, are peppers, and usually typically tomatoes too as well, because I don't really have the height where my plants grow in order to let the tomatoes grow out to a size that I can keep repotting so that I can really build the root system. So I typically buy those and the peppers as transplants. Now, I will say that my poblano peppers and my shishito peppers are the only two peppers, and actually jalapeno. Those are the only three peppers that I can grow from seed, and that's because when I'm germinating those, I'm actually germinating them outside versus inside in my grow room. So right now, oh my god guys, I'm sitting underneath this umbrella, and I just opened it even more because it's hot. Like, it's still like maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's already over 100 degrees. Like, I'm sweating out here already. But I wanted to also talk to you guys about what's in this. I posted this on Instagram, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably were like, why? That looks so gross. But I have a lot of plants that are the starts for my monsoon garden. So I have my black-eyed peas, and I have my yard-long beans, and then I have some cucumbers that I'm growing out of season, but we're gonna see if they work. And I wanted to create a fertilizer for them. Now, I don't want to bombard my new plants with just a bunch of chemical fertilizers, so I create my own and actually add it to a little bit of fish fertilizer. So what I have in here is I have some eggshells, I have banana peels. Now, I make banana bread all the time for us during this time, so I let the banana peels all the way ripen. So when they're fully ripened, that's when I make my banana bread. So that's when I also use these banana peels too as well to make this mixture. And then I had a kiwi, so I have a kiwi in there too as well. Might as well. Kiwis are yummy and provides a little bit of something in there. Now, this is going to provide my garden with a lot of potassium and then also a lot of calcium. Now, what I did is I let this fermentate. So basically I filled it up with water, and then I put it on the counter and I just let it basically rot and smell. Now, I always have things fermentating in my house because we use a lot of natural things, so I feel like usually you can typically get whatever you really need by taking the plants or the fruit, adding water, and then letting it just fermentate. And we use a lot of things for different healthcare, for cleaning products, and for fertilization for our garden. So I let this sit on the countertop, and then once I want to stop the fermentation process, so if I'm not going to use it right away, or if I plan on using this as like actual fertilizer versus just giving it to my worms, and I want to blend it and I don't want the smell to be as bad, then I put it into the refrigerator and it stops the fermentation process. But as you can see, there's little bubbles all in here because that is bacteria growing, and that's good bacteria growing that's going to be very nutrient dense to my garden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this and I'm going to strain it, and I'm going to add the strained liquid to a little bit of fish fertilizer and water, and I'm going to water all of my little baby seedlings that now have their true leaves. Now, I wait until my plants have their true leaves before I start bombarding them with more stuff, and then all of the chunks that I strain out are then going to go to the worms. If you guys don't know, I have the most spoiled worms in Arizona. Okay guys, so this is my black-eyed pea bed. Now, as you can see, it looks amazing. I am actually pretty impressed because I got these peas from the store and just put them in water overnight and soaked them, and then just planted them in here. And look at this, guys. It is growing really good. Even the little ones that I thought wasn't gonna pop up did. So now basically I have all but one that germinated. So I see some spots that I missed watering, so I'm gonna go back and get those. But this one is gonna get some fertilizer tonight. Also, I have my noodle beans that I transplanted. These have their true leaves coming in. These ones are a lot bigger than those ones, but they are coming in, so these are going to get some fertilizer tonight. Now, these are going to be the Chinese noodle beans that are going to climb up this trellis, and I also have them over here. So these are the ones that I transplanted with you guys, and as you can see, they are growing in pretty well. And just a quick tip, guys, for your compost bin, make sure you're keeping it watered. I actually come out and I put some ice in here in the middle of the day for the worms, and then I am also going to add some of the dirt from the pots. The last thing I have are my little cucumbers. Now I'm growing these out of season, so we will see. I finally took out my cucumber plant. It was done, so that one is, the soil is gonna get recomposted and all that in there, but we're gonna see if these cucumber plants grow. But as you guys can see, I have my mighty crop going on my pepper plant that I pruned, and it has been holding up really, really good with the high winds that we've been getting lately. So if you guys don't have a mighty crop, you do get 10% off with our promo code Team Benson. I will put the link down below so that you guys can get yours. Alright guys, I'm sweating. It's pretty hot. So I'm gonna go inside and I am going to blend this and get it ready for tonight. Basically I'm just gonna blend it and strain it and then put it in the refrigerator until I come out and water everything tonight. It's really, 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 really hot outside. So I'm gonna put my shade cloth back over it and we are going to give the garden a break. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. We are getting really, really close to getting like the first like 1,500 subscribers, which is really, really cool. And channel's growing, so if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to put them down in the comments. I would love to answer any questions that you guys have when you're growing your desert garden. And until next time, grow yourself a garden, because even a small space will provide you with tons of food. Bye guys.